Good evening, good evening, good evening. And if you're looking at my face, you know what time it is. I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt NoneTheWiser Wise, and we got him back because he went MIA on us for a bit, but we got him back. He's back.
I'm back, baby. I'm back.
And Matt, as I always start the GameFACE show, because that's what this is, GameFACE, Bay Area Sports Magnified. I got to go to the questions.
Get them.
So if you're trying to figure out how to get that embroidery pattern completed on time, you're on the wrong podcast. And if you're trying to figure out how to dish up that avocado dip for the game, you're on the wrong podcast. However, if you are trying to get insight in the sports in the San Francisco Bay Area, you just put your GameFACE on. And if you're trying to get insight on sports on a national level, once again, you got your GameFACE on. As I said before, I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. He's Matt NoneTheWiser Wise. Matt, what do we got?
I'm back, baby. And it's no better week to be back than beginning of NFL football. So I'm back for that. We got, I know we're going to talk about the Niners.
Oh, absolutely. You see me? Come on now.
We got to talk about the San Francisco Giants, 9-1 in their last 10 games. We got to talk about, or at least I got to shout out and throw a shout out to San Jose State University for putting up a commendable effort against USC, keeping that game close, heading into the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to talk about. I'm back. We're back. And football's back, and it's better than ever. And all eyes are on the gridiron as the teams are back and they're ready to start another football season. And as always, there's no other place to go to place your bets other than Bet Online. It's your number one spot for all your pro and college football action this season. With a new updated site and interface and even more odds, props, contests, Bet Online continues to be the number one source for everything football. So I encourage you, head on over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. That's double your initial deposit just for signing up. Don't forget to use promo code NFL100. It's Bet Online. It's the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. Bet Online, your sports book experts. And I'm telling you, Richard, after watching the San Francisco Giants beat the Dodgers over the last weekend, I am now more confident than ever that I'm almost willing to go put money down at betonline.ag on the San Francisco Giants winning the National League West, winning the pennant, because you know what? Ever since that series, the Dodgers, I'm telling you, the Giants, again, 9-1, 2.5 games up, and they're putting a smacking on the Padres right now. So it's a beautiful thing. So I'm going to put money on the Giants winning it, and the Dodgers trying to eke their way into the wild card.
Well, I tell you something. You know me. I don't bet, because if I bet, then that means my family's going to sleep outside, and I can't have that. So, but if you think you got what it takes, go to Bet Online. They can hook you up. And you're right, man. The Giants are just, it's funny. They dropped a couple of games. I think it was a few weeks ago. And there was talk going around the Bay Area that maybe this team wasn't as true to form as they all thought. And then there's just this huge resurgence within the last 10 games of 9 wins and 1 loss. And yeah, I think this team is the real deal. I really do. I think they basically are, and they beat some really good teams too. I mean, the Brewers are a good team. Okay,
they had the Brewers, Dodgers. Before that, I think it was the Braves. So you had the Braves, Brewers, Dodgers. Then you had a little bit of break with the Rockies, and they went and swung some bats out there in Colorado. Then you had the Cubs, which the Cubs are just they're not easy. And now you have the Padres. So, and then the Braves right after that, and then back to the Padres. So they've had a tough stretch, but you know what? They've met every single challenge this year that has been in front of them. And right now they're playing I think some of their best baseball right now, because all their players are coming back. They're getting healthier.
Right.
Longoria's back in the lineup. Brandon Belt's back in the lineup, swinging the bat. Posey, who was a little dinged up a month ago, he's starting to swing the bat better. So you got a lot more and you have Chris Bryant, who the Giants added before the trade deadline. So they have really geared up and put themselves in a position to take this division and take that momentum into the playoffs. So I couldn't be more happy with the direction that things are going with the Giants, and to see them beat the Dodgers just makes me happy.
It's interesting.
We beat them in the season series, so that's something right there.
But it's interesting too, because to your point, they had talked about, because I heard some chatter about the Giants last week, and they were saying that they believe that the NL West is the most dominant division this year. So, I mean, if what you're saying is true, then that means they would be probably the toughest matchup going into the playoffs to deal with. I just think that we need to really, commend Gabe Kapler. He is just doing a phenomenal job with that lineup. Even when they had guys go down, they still were producing. And I'm just like, man, I mean, I was, like I said this, I think a couple of weeks ago too. I remember when this guy got hired, everybody was cracking jokes about him and saying, oh man, this guy can't play. And they had guys from where Kapler came from saying, oh, good riddance. We're glad we don't have it. Like, you know what? Right now, you wish you did have it. Because if you did, your team would be number one in the NL West right now.
Yeah, so, they hated him in Philly for sure. Yeah, shout out to him. I mean, you know what? Listen, that man has got the freshest beard game in the majors right now, at least for a manager. That beard, he's got to color it, because it's just jet black and it is lined up, and he is dapper, is all dapper, and he's out there doing the thing and coaching the Giants. And you know what? You said it. They're the best team in the majors right now. They have the best record. Dodgers are 2.5 behind them, and then it's Tampa Bay, I think, 4 games back for the best record. They've had the best record almost the whole season in baseball. So it's nothing to sneeze at, and it's something to sit up and take notice. The Giants are serious.
Yeah, they're very serious. So we got to deal with the rat on the table. We got to put the rat on the table, okay? You see me, man, okay? I'm donning the faithful, all right? And that game yesterday, I'll tell you something. I don't want to hear no more chatter about how we don't know how Garoppolo's going to be. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of hearing it. It's over. I don't want to talk about that no more, because Garoppolo put on a show yesterday. Oh, my goodness. What was he? He
played what? No, he played really well. Listen, here's the thing for me. When Garoppolo's healthy, he's your quarterback. If he's healthy, right, he's the quarterback. His record shows it. I say it all the time. He can point to the scoreboard. He has the stats. He has the record as a starting quarterback. And it's a very, very good record. So I get it. Trey Lance is the future. He's nipping at the heels. But you know what? This is Jimmy's team.
Right.
And he did show that. He came out and he did put on a performance. Listen, that first snap that he fumbled, I was thinking, oh my, here it goes. Like, they are going to be calling for this dude's head. And I'm like, it's the first snap. And you know what? Jimmy did what Jimmy does. Whether there's a turnover or he throws an interception, the very next possession, he marches him down the field. Now, granted, he didn't get him the touchdown. I thought it was pretty cool and pretty interesting that for the first touchdown of the 2021 season, it was a pass from Trey Lance for the first touchdown. I thought that was a pretty interesting call. It was set up. He faked the run. Everybody's biting on the run, and he throws it out in the flat, and there he was. There's an easy touchdown. So I thought it was beautiful. But listen, Jimmy got him to that position. Jimmy got the team and Trey Lance to that position so that Trey could make that play. So, and that was a turnover.
No, I'll tell you something. You look at his numbers: 17 of 25, 314 yards, a TD, and 0 INTs. To me, that's a hell of a day. It really is. I mean, come on. You look at the fact that when you consider what this guy is able to do, and everybody was talking about Trey Lance, which, mind you, we've seen some skill from Trey Lance. We have. But, I mean, it was really just a no-brainer to know that, you know, he was going to be the starter. Okay, Garoppolo was going to be the starter. So we got some positives and some negatives. And me, I start things off with a positive. Okay, so you had the numbers by Garoppolo, which is positive. You had 0 pressures allowed. Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, and Alex Mack did not allow a single sack. Daniel Brunskill and Mike McGlinchey each allowed 1 pressure, but that's it. The offensive line was flawless.
And the run game was devastating. It could have been even more devastating. I mean, it didn't matter who's in the backfield. Mostert goes down. He had 2 carries, 20 yards. 2 carries, 20 yards. That's 10-yard average a carry Mostert had on 2 carries. And Mitchell comes in and just does not skip a beat. And some of those holes were giant. I could have run through some of those holes.
Yeah, those holes were big.
That offensive line, if they stay healthy, look out. The run game. I think the run game is really, really what's going to be the calling card for the 49ers this year. Their ability to run and then what they can do off of the run.
Well, we do know Kyle Shanahan is going to run the football. That's what he always does. Okay. But this is another interesting piece of information. The defense, 31 pressures, 3 sacks, 6 QB hits, 22 hurries. The defense was stifling up until the 4th quarter, of course. Wait a minute. And 73 yards after contact, rookie running back Elijah Mitchell ran for 104 yards on 19 carries. It was Debo day. It was Debo Samuel day.
189 with 9 receptions.
Yeah.
He was running all over the place. I mean, it looked like there was like the field was way too big for Detroit because there was so much space for him and he was all over the place.
Man, he almost caught 10 balls, but he settled for 9. And one of them, as you brought out, was that 79-yard TD. Okay. I mean, when you look at the menu, like I said this a couple of weeks ago when I called into a local radio show, you know, when you go out to what makes an evening out at a restaurant great, it's when you look at the menu. And you look at this menu and you think, okay, this is going to be a great restaurant to sit down and eat. Because what we got served up yesterday was tasty. It was tasty. Okay. Now the negatives.
It did.
Okay.
You know what? Listen, it was tasty. It did look good.
Yes.
But this is the NFL. And when you have your opponent down, you step on his bloody throat and you make sure he stays down. You do not. That's what drives me nuts is this conservative defense when you're up by a ton and you're playing soft. Keep doing what you've been doing.
Well, I tell you something.
There's no mercy rule in the NFL.
Well,
beat the tar out of them.
But I think what has to be considered is this, okay? All teams do that, okay? I mean, if you're up a ton, okay, what do? You bring out your starters because you don't want to risk them getting hurt. So what do? You bring out the 2nd string or the 3rd string and let them get some playing time and get some experience. Now, mind you, once it got 41 to 20, I think it was 41 to 20, I think it was 23 or 25, I can't remember. At that point, I would have put the starters back in. Okay. I mean, I would not have left them out that long. And this is kind of back to the whole Kyle Shanahan thing they were talking about before about him sometimes when he's ahead in the game, you know, he gets soft and then he don't complete, or better yet, he don't close the deal. Okay.
That's really what worries me. I mean, you look at the track record for Shanahan, and you can see sometimes in big games, he kind of folds or he gets conservative or the play calling isn't exactly what it should be. I mean, it happened in Atlanta. I mean, unfortunately it happened for the 49ers and their Super Bowl. I don't want to see that trend. Like you listen, this is the NFL. These are big boys. These are men. You got a man down. You got to step on the throat and you got to take their soul. I'm sorry. I really am, because you look at that score at the end of the game, 41-33. That was not a 41-33 game. That was a 41-3 game.
Absolutely was
Or
not.
a 41-13 game.
Yeah, and the way it finished wasn't good either because it was good that they won, but as you pointed out, Raheem Mostert goes out with a knee injury. Jason Verrett is out with a torn ACL, so he's done for the year. Niners allow the Lions to almost come back and almost lose the game. They allowed the Lions to score 16 points in one quarter.
Hey, look, Goff was nothing to sneeze at either. 338 yards in the air, 38. He threw it 57 times. He dropped back 57 times, completed 38 of those passes for 338, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, there's the Niners are, as whatever they are on offense, we know we've got a glimpse. Okay. They're going to have a pretty dynamic and potent offense.
Right.
Defense has been the one thing in the offseason I've been worried about, waiting to see what Bosa is going to be like, what he's going to be like when he gets back, but also what's going to happen in that secondary. And, there's some, I think there's some holes in that secondary that they're going to need some help. They're going to have to fix if they're going to really want to be competitive, because listen, this division is stacked. I heard the stats for all the quarterbacks in the NFC West, and it was ridiculous. Like 25 touchdowns, 1 interception, like just ridiculous stats.
Yeah, Kyler Murray lit it up this week.
Calamari went off.
Calamari, right?
Hey, Russell Wilson went off. As much as I hate to say it, he's on my fantasy team, and for some reason, he's my son's favorite quarterback right now, and he went off. And then you have what Garoppolo did. I mean, the Niners are going to need to kind of figure out some of those holes, because it's not going to be easy this year.
Well, with Jason Verrett going down, I did hear today that they did sign Dre Kirkpatrick, who has some NFL experience, played for a little while, knows how to play. They did sign him to a 1-year deal, but still, 16 points in one quarter. That's something that's got to give defensive coordinator D'Amico Ryan something to think about. George Kittle lost the ball off his face mask, which that was a freak play. But it did result in a turnover. Trey Flowers forced a fumble on a short pass to Deebo Samuel, which was recovered by Ifeatu Melifonwu. I'd make sure I butcher that guy's name. And on a sad note, former 49er and director of player personnel for the Niners, Paris Harrelson, died today.
I was just reading that.
Yeah.
That's too bad. He was young too.
Yeah,
young.
He was only 37.
Goodness.
I don't understand that. And they still have not released how he died.
I don't know, man. I don't want to speculate.
I don't either, man. I wait and let him tell me. But that's just hard. Okay, but
it's tough. You know what? As with things like that, when you're dealing with death or losing someone or someone or someone in your circle or whatever is going on in the world, man, that's why I'm so thankful for sports, man. It just gives me a distraction from some of the awful stuff that's going on in the world. And that's why I'm excited football's back.
Yeah, I'm glad. What you said is very true. I agree with you. Sports does give us a distraction because we got to deal with a lot of crazy stuff, and it seems like every day is getting crazier. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting that you see my Fear of the Tree t-shirt. Okay, that's right. My boy Stanford, they finally got a win.
There you go.
That was nice.
Hey, you know what? And USC is ranked. I mean, they were 13, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but they just fired Clay Helton, their head coach.
Oh, see, I'm behind on all that.
Yeah, they did. They fired him. And
Here you go. Hey, 55-yard field goal for the Raiders to tie the game. Fourth quarter, 5 seconds left. He nails a 55-yarder.
Are you kidding me?
To tie the game.
Oh, that's crazy. I bet they're going crazy at Allegiant right now.
Dude, it's nuts. And you know what? Shout out to the Raider fans for showing up over there. Dude, that stadium is packed with Raider fans.
Is it?
Oh, man, it's a beautiful thing. Dude, Gruden is just fired up.
I'll tell you right now.
5 yards, bro.
I'll tell you something. I said before they made that stadium, I said if they manage to get that stadium done, I said that is just going to be a huge cash cow for Davis.
Bro, as a field goal kicker right now, that guy, he had an extra 5 to 10 yards. He could have hit it from 65.
Wow.
As an ex field goal kicker, that is impressive. I have goosebumps watching that kick. And look, they're showing Davis up in the stands, but right next to Woodson, just cheering him on, man. This is pretty cool because they didn't look great in this game. I mean, defense looked pretty good, but the offense did not look good in this game. And to come back and tie it with 2 seconds left.
What's Carr? How many does Carr throw any touchdowns?
No, I'm telling you, man, they have not. Their offense has not looked good at all. Their defense has been suffocating. They have not been giving Jackson any time in the pocket. He has not been comfortable at all. But yeah, their offense did not look good. Their tight end just dropping everything tonight.
Wow. That's an interesting situation because they were saying that too. They were saying earlier that they thought that the Ravens were not going to be the Ravens of last season or the season before, because they lost a lot of personnel. And Lamar Jackson is kind of a distraction right now for the team because he won't go get his vaccine, and
right.
And everybody's looking at him going, "Dude, what are you doing? Okay, you wait a minute. You're not only putting your life on the line, you putting everybody's life on the line, and you act like you got the right to." It's like, man, But
man,
David
Carr, not a bad stat line, but that's the problem with David Carr. He'll fill up a stat line. He just won't win you a game. 30 for 49, 334 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. I mean, he's got the yardage, but 1 touchdown.
But for Carr, what it is really, it's not that he won't win you a game. It's just that he won't win you the game that matters. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, because I've seen him win games. Okay. But then, like, if it's like during the playoffs and everything's on the line, it's like, nah, you can't count on that guy. You can't. And it's sad because he's not a bad quarterback.
Here, let me tell you about a guy you can count on. Hey, Dallas Cowboys, don't give Tom Brady the ball at all in the fourth quarter to win the game. Ever, ever, ever. He will beat you. Yeah. That is Tom Brady. He is the GOAT. And it's very rare that you witness a player while he's playing that you can legitimately call the GOAT. And Brady is that, man. That fool is ridiculous. At 100 years old, still slinging that thing. Bananas, bro.
I'll tell you something else. Somebody needs to go over and talk to Aaron Rodgers, because that game that the Packers played, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, really?
Hot garbage. I watched it. Hot garbage.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a hot mess. I'm like, man, this guy throws 2 INTs. They pull him out. They pull in the backup, and the backup is throwing INTs. I'm like, man, what is going on in Green Bay? You
know what? Great. I'll see you Niners will see you week 3. Keep doing what you're doing. You could figure it out after week 3. But we're going to take it. But you know what? Aaron Rodgers, he loves coming and playing the Niners. It's going to be at Niner Stadium. I wouldn't be surprised, even if he has a stinky game too, if week 3 he decides to wake up and try to light the Niners up.
Well, we'll wait and see on that. The team that scares me right now is Arizona. Arizona's scary, man. That team, man.
Weapons.
Kyler Murray is just dude.
And Calamari I wish he would have just went to be a pitcher. I wish he would have stuck with baseball. I don't like seeing him in our division.
Yeah.
And if he stays healthy, they're gonna be right there. He was injured toward the end of last year, or else I think they probably would have been pretty in the hunt last year, but he was injured a little bit toward the last.
Yeah, I'm hoping that either Russell or DJ Locke. I know you don't want him to say Russell because he's on your fantasy team, but either Russell or DJ Locke, and one of those two need to get hurt early. I need one of those guys to get hurt, man, because man, that's another threat. Okay, that's That's another nightmare you're waking up from, and you're just going, "Oh my goodness!"
And you haven't even touched on LA. Stafford looked pretty dang good in McVay's system over there.
Yeah, but that team they played, their defense wasn't that great.
Okay, granted, I'll give you that.
Stafford wasn't even pressured in that game. I mean, come on. You put a good defense up against that team, then we'll see how Stafford plays. Because Stafford it's still Stafford. Okay, when he was in Detroit, he was a good quarterback to put up yards, all that. But then when you pressure him, he starts breaking down, starts throwing interceptions, and So, but no, I'm glad they got the win. I'll tell you something. That stadium at SoFi, oh my goodness, they're making us look bad up here.
These stadiums right now are fire. Like they are coming out with some just right now when it comes to stadiums.
That stadium makes Levi Stadium look like a walk in the park.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, Levi is so boring.
It is. It's almost like they didn't come up with any type of real concept or anything. They didn't try to revolutionize anything. I don't know. It looks simple.
Boring, man. It's sad because like it was the prize jewel for like what, a hot year. I mean, they didn't even do it as good as Dallas's stadium, and I hate to say that because I hate the Cowboys.
I hate the Cowboys too.
I'm not a huge fan of their fans, nor are they huge fans of mine. But shout out to my boy Alberto, who is a Cowboys fan, because I do got mad love for that guy. But that's probably the only Cowboy fan I could rock with.
Actually, I actually met Randy White in person before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Real nice guy. But I will say this much. There is another stadium, we only got a couple of minutes we're going to talk about because it's still not here. And that is the Emerald City that's supposed to be put together by the Oakland A's. And we have yet heard anything from Dave Cavell, John Fisher, or even Libby Schaaf, which kind of Libby Schaaf, they did bring some type of proposal to them, but their lawyers are still going. And that was like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago when they started going through that proposal with a fine-tooth comb. And here we are, and we still haven't heard anything.
Well, I don't understand it because the San Jose Sharks, the San Jose Giants, San Jose State football have put together probably the dopest little section in downtown San Jose of sporting just bonanzas, sporting complex, just fun demonium over there. And they're getting ready to put to a minor league hockey team right over there. So, and the A's can't even get it together to build one thing for themselves. It's pathetic. Every time we talk about it, at this point, I'm beyond like, who cares? I'm just almost at the point like, who cares? Like you guys, you've jerked around your fans so much that you're not even worth it at this point.
Yeah. I'm at the point where I'm ready to say, you know what? They're probably going to move and go to Vegas.
Go play in Henderson, Nevada, in that minor league stadium.
Yeah, because it's just, and what it really is the owners of that franchise. I'm sorry,
no loyalty, man.
No, and
no
there's
loyalty
either, because this isn't about whether or not they have the money, because they do. Everybody knows John Fisher's got the money. He's a billionaire. Okay, so I don't want to hear this about we don't have no money. No. When you own the Gap. Okay, which is also includes what? There's a Gap, there's Old Navy, there's who else? Oh my goodness.
Richard, if you're here to get fashion advice or find out who the Gap owns, you're on the wrong podcast. This man Matt don't know none of that, brother. You were speaking a foreign language, but hey, more power to you. You rattled off about 5 top of the line names.
Yeah, I also forgot to add, but they own Banana Republic too. That's an offshoot of the Gap.
Shout out Gap and all your conglomerates. We're taking sponsorships. If we'd be more than happy to continue promoting you got to pay us for the next time.
Well, I tell you something. After the way we talked about John Fisher just now, I don't think we're going to be getting any endorsements anytime soon.
Yep. Sorry.
Anyway, it's time for us to close it out. He's Matt, NoneTheWiser Wise. I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. This has been GameFACE, Bay Area Sports Magnified.